Okay, welcome to Body Temple Dance. Today we're going to do a ceremony releasing the toxic father from our nervous systems and our energy fields and all the things. This is a little short class, so whatever that brings up for you in this phase of your journey and your life in this moment, I want to encourage you just to let that come into the space and begin by sharing some words in the chat, or if you're doing the recording, writing down a few things that you're noticing in your physical or emotional sensation when you tune in with your body in this moment. Okay, so for some of you that, some of you that are Body Temple dance teachers and people who've been doing this practice on Fridays with us for a long time, if you want to just write a couple of words or a line or two about what this practice, has typically offered you, just so that way anybody here that's newer or has never done it can maybe just feel into a couple, words around, what have you received from doing this practice, or what have you experienced doing this practice together? That will also help to create a little bit of community connection. When I sit in this seat on Fridays, I'm holding this space as a facilitator, which means that I'm receiving guidance that's coming through in this moment. It's not rehearsed, it's not practiced. Every time we come together, it's completely different, because the configuration of people that are here and hearts that are here and psychic fields that come into here alongside all the other psychic fields that aren't going to get here physically, that all plays a role in how this unfolds, between us and within each of us, and also how we're sharing this experience together. So I'm going to lower the music all the way. And if it feels helpful for you to tune in with other people, you can practice turning your camera on and just taking a look around. You can read the chat. If it feels like you need a little bit more space, this is definitely a practice, especially when it comes to your physical body, where you want to make sure that you're just paying attention, because I'm not, with you physically, so I can't really support that level of attention. You really have to take that on for yourself, which is a fun practice, I think. And know that this is a space where you can allow activation to arise, where you can show up dysregulated, you can show up in all states of being, because this is a community that comes together to change the ways that we carry trauma in our body, right? And that really can only happen together. This isn't a bit individualistic type of practice or work. It doesn't even work when we're alone. There's certain things that we really do need others to heal. Certain things that we need to be one-on-one sometimes, right? Especially when we're digging into attachment wounding and secure attachment and things like that, which is part of what I was sharing about this morning in my very messy, rushed letter that I wrote in 10 minutes before I was trying to get, into the shower and the kids, all of that. But I just was really feeling it. I've been really feeling it for myself. This time of year, the solstice, celebrating the sun. And before I read the poem, I'm going to say one more thing, that when I went on my ancestral pilgrimage part of my ancestry is from the Mediterranean, so from southern Italy. And when we were doing these rituals, like rituals worshiping the sun, grief rituals that are, included dance and drumming and chanting, one of the things that came up for me when we did the grief ritual, and you kind of you spin and you twirl and you do this, this thing. Anna is there and has done this practice a lot more than me. Where are you? I want to see your face as I'm talking. Hold on. I don't know if you're, oh, there you are. Okay. Hi. So, okay. let me say now before I continue with my story that if you want to like stretch, like if your body is like, oh, I don't want to sit in front of the computer, I want to go like lie down and listen, or you like multitasking and listening, just like give yourself complete like ADHD freedom to like do whatever the fuck you want right now. I know some of you are listening, so even if all of you don't have the capacity to listen, it doesn't, it's totally fine. Just take care of yourself. So, one of the biggest, deepest griefs that came up for me at the end of this ritual that we did was that one of the people that was facilitating the pilgrimage, after we did this, grief ritual, and then we all kind of collapsed down. I told somebody this story, but it'll have a little extra new part to it, just in case you're bored of hearing it. And he came around, and he was also the musician. Like he's this incredible drummer, like so many different things, right? And so he was playing, he was drumming, right, the whole time that we were doing this ritual. And everyone, you kind of like sit down at the end. And he came around and he just like swooped up each person like underneath the armpits, and he like cracked our back, and then like had a stand, and then went like down our backs, and then all of a sudden you're like standing and you're like, okay, like here I am, you know what I mean? Which was like such a different thing than the like swirling of grief and like swirling of, ancestry and like everything that's coming up, or just nausea. You're like, you're spinning for a long time. It's uncomfortable. It's like hard, you know what I mean? It's not an easy ritual. And so a couple things that really stuck out to me in that moment, that one when I was kind of softened into the grief portal, and two after this, after he did that, was just like how natural it is for us to heal together, and how like undomesticated it is, meaning it's not like he's like, okay, now I'm gonna put on the chiropractor hat and like crack everyone's backs, and now I'm gonna like be the divine masculine and like have everyone stand in their feet, and now I'm gonna like play the drum and like sing and be super feminine. And it's like none of that's happening. All these labels and ideas, and like I'm this and I'm that, I'm the healer and I'm the musician and I'm and it's like this is all about the divine mother. Actually, this isn't fucking about me at all. And if this is really truly all about her, then like I can just do whatever the fuck I feel in the moment is the next true thing to do, to offer support. And I can trust that the impulse in me is good and is interconnected with that divine mother. And the grief that really hit me was that my father, who was an amazing person, like in many ways, he was very wild, and a lot of my great qualities come from him. And he struggled with addictions from when he was a teenager, like hardcore addiction, like heroin, cocaine, like so many things, right? In New Jersey, like in the 70s, that was really common, right? And so the heartbreak was like, oh, like my father living anyway in this form, physical form, like he didn't know that that was like a part of his lineage, like these songs and these rituals. Like he had no idea that like him come like his he was a second generation, anyway, immigrant, but it was like he didn't know that his grandmother and his great grandmothers, he just had no idea what they were doing, right? Like how much healing could happen. And to me, how much I've perceived addiction and all of this trauma that we come into when we're trying to get our safety from something outside of us that is usually the exact thing that is mirroring back how unsafe we are. That's what happens, right? Like I went from being addicted to like drugs and all these other things to just being addicted to like who's not protecting me and how can I try to get them to. Like that was like one of my biggest addictions in sobriety, was like where, oh, this man, this woman, this couple, these people, and for me it was always interconnected with sex too, which makes it much more amazing and traumatic, you know. And so it's like it was like where's the person that's going to help me feel safe, right? My experience is that that person just didn't come. And like I really searched, right? Like, and I still like there's parts of me that are always like scanning the environment, like where is he, And when I started to kind of sink into these, like, worshiping nature and worshiping the sun and worshiping the mother earth, the goddess as the earth, and worshiping, Kali and Durga and Lakshmi and like all these frequencies of divine mother energy, of the dark goddess, the black Madonna, these, all of the, she takes on all these forms through all cultures, right? I just have the ones that have, pulled to me. You have your own. But it's like to find refuge in her is the thing that gives me as an adult the ability to then put my inner child back to sleep when it wakes up in anxiety, right? When it wakes up feeling like I'm not safe, the house is on fire, right? Because that was like one of my biggest things. I've had so much trauma at night where it's just like, oh, as soon as it gets dark out, I'm like, oh god, like, no, like, are we okay? No, we're not okay. It's like this feeling is like as soon as it gets dark, it's like it's not okay. And I think it's like I'm just hypersensitive in that way. And right, to be able to like keep tending to her, to those, to them, to those beings inside me requires for me as an adult to also be like my adult gets scared too. I'm like, I'm scared, like, oh, the abandonment's there, or the fear, or whatever. So where does she get to go? Who does she get to lean on, right? And in worship of the sun, and when I think about this in tantra, we also have this like Shiva, this like ever consistent present consciousness as a direct experience, not as a theory, but as a direct experience, like a part of us that has always been there and will always be there. And it's a mystery. And it's like as consistent as the sun, it's as life-giving as the sun. Okay, that's all I'm going to say because I don't want to take up too much time. But I'm curious, what are you hearing and what I'm saying? Like, how does this relate to you? How does it not relate to you? What intuition do you have around like reclaiming this tradition of worshiping the sun as the father, right? If I'm just gonna like be as bold as to, say that and bring that into this space, like what is the bold thing in you that like needs to be said that feels like, oh, I have this intuition around these ancient ways of reconnecting and reestablishing a relationship to the divine that might not fit into someone else's idea of what that means. And how can we support you in that reclamation and in trusting that what arises within you is just as valuable as what arises within anyone else when any of us are on our journeys, right? Of reclaiming the birthright that is belonging, right? That is longing, the desire to receive. And it doesn't mean that then our relationships don't start mirroring that sense of like, I'm not always alone, right? I have a partner, and there's certain phases in our relationship. There's a lot of secure relationship, and we could be that for each other too. But the initial impulse and the deepest part of me, which is like pretty deep, it's almost like there's some deep, 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 deep layer in me that's just like, like that is just always mine to love. And there's a pain in that, and there's like a power in it too. Okay. So what do you guys think about the toxic father and your relationship to the son? Like, or the patterns of hyper individualism and patriarchy and like all these things that I'm just like, oh, I don't even want to say them anymore. And then like coming together in this way and allowing ourselves to embrace what's true that's within you that you can trust. Okay. And I'm going to give you a moment to just write that down in your journal. I'm going to read a poem, and then you will need something to write with because we're going to take a few minutes and just write out our grievances. Yeah, let the sun father us. Yes, thank you, Willow, for sharing that line. That was like so succinct and beautiful and clear that it was like took me a second to read compared to my swirl. I love it. I love how direct that transmission feels. So thank you. What else? What comes up for you all? Josh said, looking to squeeze it from my body with dance and awareness, seeing it pass to my sons, knowing it's already dead and I'm its last breath. That's a deep, deep poem right there. Thank you, Josh. Yeah, I feel that too. Yeah, thanks for saying lately I'm feeling like the toxic father. I really, really can feel that. And I can relate to that. I feel like that often. Yeah. Usually when I'm confronting another layer of intimacy, especially with my partner, that's kind of what comes up. It's like, as much as I'm like, I want us to feel safe in this new layer of our emotions and this and that, as soon as it's like he opens in that way, and he wouldn't mind me sharing this, it's like I become that actually. It's like I start going like, no, like, like you're having an emotion? No. Like you're telling me how you feel? No. It's like this feeling of like, don't tell me, don't give me your emotions. Like, how dare you have an emotion? What about my emotion? It's like this crazy impulse in me that's like, "Da, da, da, da," because it's actually so scary for that part of me to be like, we both have emotions. We want that to be like a positive experience. Never seen it before. Definitely didn't experience that as a child. You know what I mean? Like, whoa, so far from where I am, so far from where that part of me is. So, yeah, thank you for your honesty. Okay, and so I'm going to read a poem, and then I'm going to read the rest of what y'all wrote after we start moving and things. And if you want to start moving now, or you want to start stretching, like I said, warming up your body, you're welcome to get up and start stretching. This is a poem by Ocean Vuong, and it says, after Frank O'Hara, after Roger Reeves. Ocean, don't be afraid. The end of the road is so far ahead, it is already behind us. Don't worry. Your father is only your father until one of you forgets, like how the spine won't remember its wings, no matter how many times our knees kiss the pavement. Ocean, are you listening? The most beautiful part of your body is wherever your mother's shadow falls. Here's the house with childhood whittled down to a single red tripwire. Don't worry. Just call it horizon and you'll never reach it. Here today, jump. I promise it's not a lifeboat. Here's the man whose arms are wide enough to gather your leaving. And here the moment, just after the lights go out, when you can still see the faint torch between his legs, how you use it again and again to find your own hands. You ask for a second chance and are given a mouth to empty into. Don't be afraid. The gunfire is only the sound of people trying to live a little longer. Ocean, ocean, get up. The most beautiful part of your body is where it's headed. And remember, loneliness is still time spent with the world. Here's the room with everyone in it. Your dead friends passing through you like wind through a wind chime. Here's a desk with the gimp leg and a brick to make it last. Yes, here's a room so warm and blood close. I swear you will wake and mistake these walls for skin. Okay, so I'm going to put that in there because, it's too long, because it's such a beautiful poem and definitely needs to be read more than once. I'm going to do it in two because it needs to go in there now. I mean, I couldn't even let myself feel it because I had to read it. You know what I mean? It's like one of those poems. If I was feeling what I was reading, I wouldn't have been able to finish. Hold on. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So just grab a piece of paper. Ideally, you want to write on paper so you can burn it at some point safely. But you can also, and we're just going to take a couple minutes here, and I just want you to just like let out, like unleash. No one ever else has to read this. Just unleash any grievances that you have with the Father and what that means to you. It's not going to be all of them, probably, in the matter of like a 2 or 3 minute transmission, but it's going to encapsulate the whole, because you don't need to like, we need containers when we're working with this level of stuff, especially if we're doing it in a group, right? So there's a timed container for a reason, and the meaning you're not going to finish. And like if you have this beautiful relationship with your father and this and that, it's like, you just muse with whatever this brings up for you, and just trust that flow. Okay. And I'll let you know when it's time. So just allowing yourself to just let it out, whatever grievances that are there, alive and awake for you in this moment with the Father and what that means to you. There's no right or wrong, and you won't have to share it. I'm going to do it too. Okay, so you can let your last few lines finish up. And if you'd like to just put a line or two of what, I don't know, maybe one line, or just circle it, just something that came up, and you can put it in the chat. One of the things that came through at the end for me was feeling this like reclamation of my right as a daughter, as a son, as a descendant of the sun itself, right? That there's this very strong connection for me of feeling the ancestor that is the sun, and how all of that illuminates and heals so much of the wounding, of my lineage, on, all my paternal lineage, but also, the father that my mother was raised by, who was very intensely, abusive, and, beyond. So, my intention with this practice today is to really hold a creative space for you to let your body do what it knows how to do best, which is heal when it's given the space to do so. And really sink into, I'll guide you, but you also get to, use your own intuition, and sit with this releasing of, the victimization that we carry, as a way of honoring it, and releasing, right, the ways that our fathers, patterns and psyches, and, all those in our nervous system, right, all of it, and holding this space for letting that go, and pushing that out of our fields as a way of, being with the younger parts of us in the ways that they need, so we can better learn how to listen and relate to one another, even amidst our challenges and differences, and boundaries, finding these boundaries and celebrating all of us by coming together in this way and saying yes to showing up, which is so hard to do amidst so many things that are going on. Saying yes to you in this process is also setting a really clear boundary energetically to your relationships, to say, like, this is the wellness that I'm amplifying, that's within me, that isn't, that, right? And this is the wounding that I carry, but that the vulnerability of that is also wisdom, right? That it's not just the wound that needs to be rejected or avoided, but it's like this wound is actually also giving me this same awareness and consciousness, in a weird way, weird and twisted way. Okay, so I'll read some of those in a moment. So you can either come up to stand or do this first part sitting. And we're just going to do a little gentle stretch here for our neck and our throat. So you can just let your head lean over to one side. And I'm going to start sitting because I'm going to be doing some music, but I want you to definitely come up to stand if you're feeling like, oh, want to get up. Really let your body just come up. And you can let your eyes just turn up towards the ceiling. And just notice your natural breath, and notice your heartbeat.
One night to be confused, one night to speed up truth. We had a promise made.
You don't have to pull on your head, just let the weight of your hand. This is just toning. This is a vagal toning exercise. And when we're in our ventral vagal energy, we're in secure attachment. And so when we microdose on these somatic exercises, whether we're dysregulated or regulated, it's bringing more of that energy into our field already. And just keep looking up if you can. Notice if saliva comes into your mouth. That's an indication that your system is very gently downshifting, downregulating.
Start a simple touch. One night to push and scream, and then relief. 10 days of perfect tunes. The colors red and blue. We had a promise made. We were in love. To call for hands of above.
head back to the middle and just either close your eyes or let them rest on something that feels good to look at in your space, and just notice the left and right side.
Awake with false teeth, sharing different heartbeats in one life.
And then let your head lean over towards the other side or towards the right, and let your hand gently drop on top of your head. Turn your eyes up towards the ceiling or the sky.
To call for hands up, to lean on, would it be good
Just let your eyes soften a little bit, but keep looking up unless you feel pain. It might feel a little like straining or uncomfortable. It might just feel pleasant. It might feel neutral. And just notice your breath that's breathing you without effort. Start welcoming your emotional body into this ritual if it hasn't already arisen. And you can let your head come back up to the center again and just pause for a moment. Notice the right and left side of your head, your neck, your face. Notice the looking out, like who's looking out from inside, and let your eyes, like let yourself look from the backs of your eyes and look around your space and start to turn your head side to side to find mobility in your neck. Looking up, looking around, and just like moving your eyes and noticing what you see, noticing the color, noticing the texture, noticing the words on, if you have words on something in your space, just really getting oriented here. If you're still seated, you can come up to stand. You can also do any of this practice sitting, and you can also do it lying down, and you can also do it in your imagination. So if there's anything you can't physically do that I'm offering, you can imagine your body doing it, because image is a channel in your body, just like movement. So it's gonna offer the same medicine, you can say. So if you're coming up to stand, just start to walk through your space. So you actually also look behind you and just move through your space and start to get oriented into the energy of your environment. Most of you are probably in your own homes where you're really cultivating and co-creating the environment with others. And you might notice you need to clear some of the space like I do right now. Usually I clear up behind me, but didn't have time today. And you can also start moving gently in your shoulders, in your hips, just starting to loosen up the joints, maybe in your ankles, in your wrists. So just loosening some joints as you walk or move through your space, changing directions, and really choosing each movement that you make. So this is a practice of really coming into a deeper consent and choice inside of our own body and our experience of being in a body. So allowing the movement of your hips or your ankles or your knees to just start to welcome some of your energy that might have gone out through the internet, out through, your relationships, and just gently starting to call some of that energy back. You can move in any way that feels like it's supporting something pleasant. You can start to orient towards something pleasant in your room, or a stretch that feels pleasant. Just letting your body warm up in this first orienting and phase. We're just unraveling and unwinding some of those habitual patterns. So maybe making a different movement that you might not usually, or stretching, really like noticing in a deeper way what's happening when you're stretching. And can you open to the pleasantness of it 3% more? Keep changing directions and really feel your feet starting to melt. Your feet melting down, like energetically starting to create some roots from your pelvis, your womb, your sex organs, your vulva, cock, and like really down through your legs, down into the earth, and finding a moment of a relationship to this, like deep down, like the womb of the earth. And maybe you want to stand still to feel that. Feel your spine for a moment. Maybe you want to find it as you sway, as you dance and move. Maybe you want to try both. Just see what that's like. Let your relationship to the goddess that is this earth offer some support. Offer like what wants to just already release down. Take a breath. Take a sound of a yawn where you have to really open your mouth. Real open jaw. Notice the energy of that in your body. Feel the breath and just get a little softer, like 3% softer. There's poems that want to be written through you. There's songs that want to be sung through you. There's so much there that wants to be shared. And in this moment, it's like you're just building a safety for all of that energy to be expressed. But just building this lighted house for that energy, for what's been repressed and rejected, for what's been denied and judged as wrong, as irrational. And let the energy take a deep breath through your nose and out through your mouth, and just let the energy soften again. Just 3% more down to your feet, melting from your knees to the outer edges, to the inner edges, to the toes, to the heels, like you were melting like candle wax in your lower legs. Just stay nice and soft in your joints. Just keep breathing, letting what wants to move through you. Like your body already knows what it needs to feel free. And if you can, for this part, move slower. Even if it feels hard, just take a breath and let some of the effort, like the addiction to everything being hard and exhausting. What if it was easier to just move a little bit slower, even if it feels a little uncomfortable? Bend your elbows, stretch them. Bend your knees and stretch them.
But is there a way for you to give it your all?
Interlace your hands behind your back, stretch open your chest.
Dreaming a dream, a sweet
Keep melting in your feet. Let your spine extend.
Dancing on the astral line, over water,
soft,
and rain, floating through the straps.
Core,
Round the AC
soul of your foot, a chakra.
Dancing on the astral line, over water, winds and rain, floating through the straps. Round the AC
You want to open
dancing on the
her
astral
protection.
line, over water, winds and rain, floating through the straps.
Maybe there's a little spiral
Round the AC
of your body.
round the AC, round the AC,
Your belly.
round the AC,
Sun of your solar plexus.
round the AC,
The sun shining down.
there is a light you have inside you, can touch.
You can bring your hands to your solar plexus and just take a breath there and just very gently press into that space above your navel where your ribs move apart, and just start to feel that energy there. And just face a different direction, walk around your space, and just kind of let that go and just move in a different way.
Hey, look up to make a shadow of yourself, always shutting out the light.
And just feel your relationship again to the sun as an energy. Just take a breath into your solar plexus, in through the mouth, out through the mouth. Invite you to grab a pillow or a blanket or just something soft and just hold it to the front of your body. Stay with this little exercise. You can also keep kind of dancing with it. You can hold this pillow like it's your inner children, child. Solar plexus here. Try to make a sound that connects you to your solar plexus. Not just a sound, it should be like an feel the back of your body, like you're allowing this energy to spread here with the sound, spreading with the system. Take a nice deep breath into your belly, and you're just going to do a gentle, but like committed yell into your pillow. And you can shake your legs, do it, and just bounce a little bit, like really let out any of this pattern and of this toxic energy that is just like so consuming. And just let your body have a moment where you're really releasing it, like releasing your father's energy that is not personal, own ancestry, connected to the father. Let your body just like say no more of this. Through the sound, through the courage. that feels complete, you can drop your pillow and you can move your arms around so you can clear some energy with your hands and feel, right, your own auric field. And just see what you notice about the energy here in the center, how it wants to move, like as if it was a fire reaching up towards the air, towards the ether. Let your arms be the flames for a moment. Make a higher sound like okay, and then just pause for a moment. Feel your breath. You can place your hands somewhere on your body, like your upper chest. You can do a little tapping here in this space. You can also just place a hand there and feel your solar plexus and just have a conversation for a moment with your father or anybody that represents that energy of toxic masculinity or toxic energy. It could be more in the collective, right? And it doesn't mean you're cursing your father, just for the record. I think you all know that because you're all mystics and healers. But, you know, this is a way of like sending energy back with blessings. It's only going to liberate. If there's an opportunity for liberation, this is how, you know, this is how it is. You holding it in your muscles, in your neck, in your jaw, in your pelvis, in your relationships is not going to liberate it, right? We've obviously, most of us have tried that to no end. And so this is a moment to just say your father's name or say your brother's name or say the energy of the names, right? Because of course gender is not the only thing we're talking about, but just for the sake of this class, I'm just really sinking in with that. But you can just follow it, right? You can follow it wherever you need to. And just speak those words like dad or what, and say the name. My father's name is Peter Rizzolo, right? It's like you are not welcomed in this space of my body anymore. You are not welcomed in this space of my body anymore. If I'm going to really love him, it's like he needs to be out of that, right? And so that's mine, right? You can just share whatever feels true for you. You could just try that one out, saying it out loud. You know, shake out one of your legs when you say it. Shake out your hands, right? Maybe you want to speak to more of a collective patriarchy, and we don't need to open the whole door to that, but you know, we're all in it, right? So the disregard for women and children and the sensitive parts of us, regardless of gender, right? The parts that are wise and rooted to the earth, the disregard for the earth herself. And you can just say no and just see what it feels like to just stand in your body and shake a little bit and just say no. No more. You are not welcomed in the home that is this body. You are not welcome in any ways that do not serve into the home that is this body. And you can just say anything that I'm saying. You can see what's in your field and try something out. You can just think it if you feel like your voice isn't working right now. If your throat feels blocked, place a hand there and just take a breath into your hand and let your hand communicate with what wants to be said. You don't have to say it out loud if it's not possible right now. Casting out all, renouncing all energies that are unlike the sun, that are pushing against the evolution of love and truth and humanity and the protection of the human heart. And just let yourself feel what that's like for you. I definitely recommend that you kind of wiggle a little bit into your hips. Shake out your arms. You can flutter your lips.
I keep fighting voices in my mind that say I'm not enough.
And then let yourself, when that feels like good, if you still feel like you got a lot of energy, you can just like bounce and hop your feet in and out and just kind of let your body keep moving in some way. Just bringing some of that energy into the body. If you're feeling like, oh, I just want to sit or lie down and stretch, then follow that. I'm kind of leaving this moment a little bit more open. And just keep breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth for now.
Just who I am because I need to know.
Stretch, open.
You say I'm loved when I can't feel a thing.
Maybe you want to just move
You say I'm
in your own way
when
as
I
love
think I'm weak.
as the rays of the sun coming through you want to express. Without thinking about what it looks like, let yourself perform as the daughter, the sibling, the son of the luminous energy that births and draws the darkness, the womb of the earth, everything in there. Find some kind of movement or sway or stretch that feels pleasant.
In you I find my worth, in you I find my identity.
Maybe there's some forgiveness here that wants to happen, that wants to move through you for the ways that you've become that energy, the ways you've participated in the perpetuation of that toxicity instead of just blaming. For some of you, that's true. So feel the forgiveness that wants to move. Or let the breath moan. Forgiveness to the state. The imperfection is where we learn. It's so painful, but here you can let yourself start to come closer to the ground, embodying the sun energy, embodying this change of transformation, this fire. If you feel kind of just like disassociated or like just move or imagine moving as the sun in worship, in devotion. As that divinity in and out of our consciousness. Like just letting yourself focus there a little longer than you might normally. Like be too much in this moment. Like take a breath that's too much. Make a sound that's too much.
I'm not my word.
And feel with your hands the texture of your clothes, and you can start to, if you haven't already, come to sit or lie down and let yourself just surrender it all and let yourself receive what Spirit is wanting to say to you in this moment. How does that divine Father, that pure, unconditional love that is life-giving, want to speak to you? What's the message? Ask. Receive.
And you told me,
feel it.
That no man is the same. And you said love, it's a dangerous thing. you get too close. Hear her sing, hear her sing, sing. Hold me like a fire, hold me like a river. Hold me like a fire, hold me like a river. You hold me like a
Let
fire,
yourself be
hold me
embraced
like a
in his
river.
love,
Hold me like
in
a
their
fire,
love,
hold me like a Tell me there's a child,
consciousness pouring
the
through.
mother in me closes her eyes to remember her dream. Tell me there's a cure, the father in me
Bring your
closes
hands
his
on your
eyes
body. Feel, give
to
yourself some
forget about
body
his
touch, like
dreams.
full of just nurturing
Dreams.
energy.
Oh, you hold me like a fire, hold me like a
Hug
river.
that, your
Hold
tongue to
me
that.
like a fire, hold me like a river. You hold me like a fire, hold me like a river. You
Your
hold
body is
me like a
moving.
fire,
You're
hold me,
awakening
you
to the
hold
sun.
me, you hold me like a fire, hold me like a river. You hold me like a fire, hold me, you
Beautiful
hold
dance.
me, you hold me like a fire, hold me like a river.
Continual movement from darkness back into light. Depths of darkness, where truth can be tended to long enough until it's exposed to its true reality.
Hold me like a fire, hold me like a river, hold me like a fire.
Take a nice deep breath down into your pelvis, your pelvic diaphragm. Once again, feeling your roots to the earth, to this mother, to this goddess that's right here below our bodies, receiving the transmission of divine love through the sun's continual uprising. And feel your own spine, like feel the spine in you. Imagine the sun just energetically touching each vertebrae, touching the spaces in between your ribs. And just taking another couple minutes here to just see if there's a message from the sun, and ask, like, is there a message? The sun is a protector. It helps you to work with psychic energies. It helps you to, I mean, not only live, obviously, in the most, in the ways that it fuels our food and everything that keeps us living, but also energetically, like, this is how we work. Like, send your relationships that you care about this energy, like, send your partner and your lovers and, your friends and the people maybe that you're struggling with, like, send them this psychic energy so you can be protected and freed of what's arising and subsiding there, right? So just be in that relationship for another couple minutes and ask for a message, ask for a gift, see what comes up.
They drew out a map and they showed you direction, your sender. It's far in the east where your heart is at peace when you enter. My love is just a reminder, find your center. My love is just a reminder, find your center. My love is just a reminder. My love is just a reminder, find your center. Well, help me recall that first morning, sunlight at dawn, and cracks on the floor, well, it served as a warning. Everything's changing, I'll
Send the light of
rearrange it.
this love
So
to the
familiar,
homes
so
you grew up
amazing.
in,
Hopped in the car, drove through the mountains, cows in the street,
the
prayer beads
people
you
that
were
lived in that
counting.
house.
There was the river, eternal giver, flowing forever. Remember, find your center. My love is just a reminder, find your center. My love is just a reminder. My love is just a reminder,
Or into
find
that
your
in-between
center.
world where all
My love is just a
things that die
reminder.
move through. Send this light to that realm. for the liberation of those beings, for those children, for those mothers, for those fathers, for those
When you've lost your way,
ancestors
colors
and
start to
leaders,
fade. Take a look
activists and
within,
people
a
and the artists
fire
that have moved
offering. Hold it to the
evolution
sun,
forward with their
let your
lives.
spirit run. Remember, remember, find your center. My love is just a reminder, find your center. My love is just a reminder.
Take a breath with a gentle
My love is
into
just
your
a
same last
reminder,
little.
find your center.
You can run your
My
hands over
love
your
is just a
body,
reminder. My love is just a
brush off your
reminder,
neck,
find your center. My love is just a reminder. My love is just a
rub down to your
reminder,
feet.
find your center. My love is just a reminder.
And just see what you notice about your body now after doing this short little movement and energy healing practice. And we're going to close with a song. So let yourself kind of, tune in with your environment. If you want to stay resting, if you're tired, sometimes people fall asleep at the end of Body Temple or they just come to Body Temple to sleep. I love that. So you're welcome, of course. But if you're wanting to orient back into your space so we can close, you can look around and find something that feels good. I always orient to the sky and the sun. Obviously, I can't look directly at the sun all the time, but I always, the sky is my number one lover. I'm always orienting to the sky. So find something that feels good for you to relate to in this moment, that's natural, that's not filled with just more ideas and information and trauma and all these things beautiful and love the beautiful things that we carry. And I want to just kind of loosen up a little bit more, even, right? We're always kind of softening layer by layer here. Before we do this song, I just want you to connect to something that feels good and just offer like a little like ha 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 ha. Just like a ha 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 ha, like a ha 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 ha. Like really feel your belly go like ha 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 ha. A little ha ha hoo 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 hoo. Hee 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 hee. Something like hee 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 ha 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 ha. Oh, mine are all pretty fake in this moment. There we go. That one came. So like feel like like feel it in your pelvis, feel it in your womb, feel it in your cock, your pussy, like some some pulsation, some energy, some like in your jaw, right? A little moment of some laughter, of like, ha ha ha, right? Just making different movements with our face, even just really moves things around. Okay, so this song, I don't know who wrote it, so please, if you do, write in the chat and I'll say it when I'm done. And I'm just going to do the call and you could do the response. And it's a deep, beautiful solstice song, I feel and I find. So I'll do the call, like I said, and you could do the response. And again, write down anything you're noticing in your body as we come back into relationship, connection together. What's here? What's showing up? What message did you receive? What message did the Divine Father? What message did the Son want to just put inside you, right? So your prayers for the world are backed, right, by some force that can help you take action, right? And as you write your experience, and maybe during the song, like maybe there's another like action, like maybe there's a true action that's connected to what you're here to share in your truth and in your movement of healing energy into the world. Like maybe there's some like actual physical action that wants to come through that then you can honor. Okay. So the song goes like this. Any transmissions, downloads, you can just not jot them down. Give yourself the space. Okay. May I be empty and open to receive the light. May I be empty and open to receive. May I be empty and open to receive the light. May I be empty and open to receive. May I be empty and open to receive the light. May I be empty and open to receive. May I be empty and open to receive the light. May I be empty and open to receive. May I be full and open to receive the light. May I be full and open to receive. May we be full and open to receive the light. May we be full and open to receive. May we be empty and open to receive the light. May we be empty and open to receive. May we be full and open to receive the light. May we be full and open to receive. May we be empty and open to receive the light. May we be empty and open to receive. May we be full and open to receive your light. May we be full and open to receive. And just see what you notice in the energy here in your jaw, your throat, your heart, your belly, pelvis, pelvic floor. You can receive any last bits of connection from spirit, from source, a prayer, an action that wants to be taken, that can happen just easily through you because of this connection, because of this time that you're taking. What is the miracle that you need? What is the heartbreak that keeps bringing you to your knees? May all beings in all the worlds be free of suffering, be liberated, know peace, feel joy, know love. And just in this last moment where we're together creating this vortex of healing, this healing vortex. Even if the trauma vortex is what's swirling in you in this moment, it's held in this healing vortex. Just feel the vibration that's so subtle, that is peace, that's within you. Or just allow yourself to contemplate, like, what is peace as a vibration within you? Can you get a felt sense of it? Can you let it infiltrate your cells, your emotional body, your brain? Can you send it into the places that are important for you to connect to care for? Not just in your immediate home, although there too, imagine your neighborhood, but really like all the way out. And then when you feel ready, you can take your time, but please share with us in the chat just anything you're noticing, even if it's just one word you want to leave here. If you have to go, you're welcome to go at any time. You can just say bye in the chat. Thank you for doing this ritual with us today. I really felt like it needed to happen today, and that's why I did this. And I'm here. We like to hear from you, your voices at the end of this gathering. We connect in community in many different ways online, meaning sometimes we hear from people throughout our classes in so many different ways. But in this class, we always leave the last, 15 minutes for some shares. What are you noticing? What did you experience during that? What came up for you? What's here now? What's the action step that maybe you want to share with the group or put in the chat to like get the energy of it moving? And you could just raise your hand with the reactions. You can unmute. Era wants to share. Thank you for hopping in.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Adriana. That was wonderful. Thank you so much. First of all, the whole experience was really nice. So I just wanted to share this last part. So I definitely felt like an emptying of like a clearing of space. And then when you said like asking for the call to action, it definitely felt like a neutral space in my body to start to ask for that. At the beginning, there was like a lot that felt corrupted in my body. And like in the dancing, I used the word no a lot, like in different ways, like a mantra, and just like feeling it expressed in all these different ways and really trying to move some of that stagnance out. And then I felt like I was at a neutral place to ask for something to come in. So what came up is just like a neutral call to my actual father, living human being father. We've had a lot of very charged conversations and a lot of periods of no conversations. And, some gratitude expressed came up too, because I think a lot of times, I think if I express any of the grateful pieces, it like disarms the accountability pieces, but it came in that's not true. And then I remembered that when I was younger, I was very angry with my parents for myself and by myself. And then I sought a lot of healing communities and sought a lot in myself to find forgiveness and find a relationship with them that made sense for me. But then after my mom passed, everyone was so angry and everyone in my family was so torn apart and mad at my dad that I ended up like going back to that disdain and hatred, but this time not for me and not it was really on the behalf of others to like to show some kind of solidarity, but it didn't feel true to me. Um, and that was definitely a betrayal, and
Mm.
it was self-betrayal. So I think the neutral call and the gratitude is like a relief and a release of that, and a
Yeah.
reclaim of that, all that healing that I did do by myself and for myself.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I'm so grateful, Era, that you're sharing with us and like allowing us to kind of be in that with you. It's really beautiful to really be able to hear something that sounds so authentic. It's like really birthed from that space of like, receptivity. And like you said, the work you've done. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah. Adriana.
Hi. It was a really powerful experience for me where I was holding my son as when we were standing and just saying no. And it went from a very charged, angry yell of a no to a very still and quiet one. And I was able to see all the men that I projected that father role to. And then I just directed it at my dad and I said, no. And I repeated after what you said. And after that, I could sense this deep abandonment in my father where I no longer felt angry at him. I just wanted to love him
Mm.
because I understood that where the wound from him came. And then it sort of zoomed out. And then he became just one of the men in a sea of men in the patriarchy right
Mm.
now that aren't connected to love and keep the cycle of violence and hatred going. And as I was holding my son, I could also feel the grief of the mothers in Palestine.
Mm.
Um, and he started to speak about letting forgiveness flow through us.
Mm.
And I felt like I was holding all of it
Mm.
at the same time, but living it inside just me.
Mm.
And so as I was holding the baby, this prayer just came through of may all the men who are asleep in greed wake up to the sound of love
Mm.
in order to just connect with their inner peace to
Mm.
stop what's happening. So it was this really deep experience where I felt a very protective, still peaceful no,
Mhm.
while at the same time not disregarding my rage and my anger and being
Mm.
able to connect to forgiveness, not just to my own what I feel the suffering that was imposed upon me, but what's imposed upon others at the same time. And it was a very like
Mm.
liberating experience.
Mm. Beautiful. Thank you so much. And know that, that wider web, right, is part of what's holding you, as you're holding
Mm.
that, as you're holding your son, just I know that that, and that's why you're able to share so articulately and why you're able to actually go so deep. But I just wanted to say the words, and so that way it kind of, also confirms, what you already know inside, how held you are, because you don't have to hold it alone.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Thanks so much. Always love hearing your reflections. Thank you. Okay, Danny.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, this is the first body temple I've been able to come to in about like 6 months.
Mm.
And I signed up really wanting to show up for the healing and was in a really deep state of grief and collapse. And it felt like I couldn't find my masculine. I couldn't find that part of me that you said, like, stand up, find your spine. And I couldn't find it for months and went through a healing journey
Mm.
full of self-isolation.
Mm.
Um, and I I've come here today, and everything you were sharing felt like step by step, this is what I've been experiencing. And in every moment, it was like, just sit with this feeling, like you have to accept where you are. And some of these feelings have been like impossible. It felt impossible to sit with, to, let my heart feel the rage, feel the hate, feel the grief.
Yeah.
And I'm in this rebirth with my family. I'm back home for Christmas for the first time in 8 years. I don't like Christmas, but I'm here and my heart is open to it. And my dad is showing up in ways that he never has, with big, open-hearted love and care. And yesterday, my brother and I celebrated solstice by going to this wilderness part close to our city. And, I have a really big witch wound, and he just said, let's do a ritual at the Ukrainian settlers of Canada. I'm half Ukrainian. So we lit candles. I did a fucking witch ritual with my brother for the solstice, calling in our ancestors, lighting candles, going for this amazing winter walk for like 13 kilometers. And in Ukrainian, there's the solstice festival is called Kolyada, which is the newborn sun. It translates as the newborn sun. And this morning, I woke up early, but at 8:30, the sun was rising here in Canada, winter solstice. And the newborn sun looked like this amazing, divine, pink and purple and blue colors. And it's the first time in my life that I've been able to really feel really grounded, really connected to joy and love, and also open to grief and open to the destruction in our patriarchal world. And I wouldn't be able to connect this and feel this integrated without this space. So I'm so grateful to you, Adriana. Thank you for this amazing session and processing all this in an hour.
Yeah, I know. I'm always amazed. It's really because all of you are here. But it really, I'm always amazed. And I'm also like, it really doesn't take that. I mean, because, because it's ongoing, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, some big things fall away, but then it's ongoing. So it's also like, oh, what a beautiful way to spend time. And thank you so much for sharing your amplification of wellness. Like it's so important to feel that and to be in that with you, and for all of us to receive that regardless of where we are. It's so beautiful. So thank you, Danny. Really appreciate it, and love that sunrise and the newborn sun. Is that what you said? Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, feeling that for sure. And I just want to remind everyone, because I didn't before, please share, with others when they're sharing. You're always welcome to share generous reflections in the chat. If what someone shares brings something up in you that then you want to speak to your own direct experience, that's welcome. But also just like, what do you see in these beautiful beings that are, taking this moment to be vulnerable? And I'd love to hear from one more person that feels really shy or introverted, but feels like this might be a good time to kind of practice being in community and sharing, even if it feels kind of scary or feels like, not what you normally do. I like to kind of hold space for that, because there's lots of introverts and shyness that is so welcomed here in these spaces. And I always love hearing from you if you feel like now's the moment to share. Also, any questions like about somatics, that's really welcome, about how like our nervous system or our intimacy, relationships, anything that comes up for you around that. I'm going to stay for 5 more minutes. So please feel free to raise your hand or just unmute and you can share. Someone talk to me, please. I mean, I'm reading your shares and I'm going to read them either way, but it's just more fun if somebody comes on. And there's still 35 people here, so I just know for a fact somebody else wants to say something. or not for a fact, but like 95% sure somebody wants to share. I think Jade unmuted. I'm not sure if you meant to, but
I did. It was sneaky. But like, I'm
No.
not like introverted. So I wanted to somebody, I wanted to.
Okay. Well, it's okay if you're not introverted also to share for sure. I know that was like my invitation and then, I kind of asked for it, but it's okay. But anybody can share. Thank you for but thank you for pausing and making that space. The space is also fine. The space is a part of the pausing is a part too. So, but thank you for being aware of that and then also for jumping in.
Yeah. Well, I just kind of a general sort of reflection of this specific work. I mean, I've been practicing yoga and meditation. I've taught yoga and since 2008. There's something about this that is kind of extraordinarily different. Um, it's helping me to integrate different aspects of myself without having to understand what I'm doing. And it's been very interesting to watch myself change, like shift and change in such like it doesn't feel like work at all. And it feels like I'm really having like a blossoming kind of experience. And like this feeling of like sitting back against my own spine in my life. Which is just like, I guess the same as like not having, I have reactions. I have PTSD. I've got all the stuff, but it is like my behavior, there's a choice, there's a space for choice. As like I don't have to react from my active kind of place. And so that's just in general from doing this work with you all in this group, it's just been like kind of
Yeah.
been working for a lot of years. Meditate for hours and hours and hours. So this is just incredible work.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jade. And I hear that in the, reactions still happen. And, like, because this isn't the path of perfection, right? Like we might revisit these things for a long time or, but we don't know how long things take, but I love what you're bringing into all of us in this moment, which is the choice, right? Because now we all, even if it's just for today, might have a little bit more of that just because you named it, or reconfirmed that is possible. And I have had a similar experience. And that's part of why I feel so passionate about sharing this and having others share it with others. And, it really does something. The embodiment of some of this really deepens our relationship to God, but then also how we're living in relationship to that, which is, yeah, it's definitely imperfect.
Yeah.
But expanding that capacity to have choice in moments when we didn't otherwise, or even just move through difficult things that are going to naturally arise. Right? Yeah. And celebrate the joy and the freedom and the, everything else that's there too, even amidst that, it's really being able to hold more of a paradoxical nature, which is, really the only thing that makes sense to me. I mean, I'm hesitant to say it makes sense because it is quite baffling to my mind, but it's what I feel like I need and what we're here for. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Merrick, and then I'm gonna go.
I want to say thank you to is that not working? Might not be working. Oh, okay. Thank you to Jade that was that really led perfectly into what had come up for me when was asking, what do I need to know? What do I need to receive while in practice today? And for the longest time I've had this hang up about it has to be healed with the person who, brought the wound around. And after a whole lot of inner work in community, and studying quantum mechanics, understanding that there is the healing is going to happen even if it's not in the container that my ego wants it to happen in. That the father wound healing, it takes place when I heal it with another person, when I heal it inside myself, when I heal it with the collective. And it felt like permission to not put myself into like unsafe, mind states and stuff, and spiral around not having access to the type of healing that I want that healing. But there is the medicine in the quantum entanglement that we speak now, and it's felt by a star in another solar system. And so that every action that I take to heal these wounds within myself is going to reflect outward, and to let go of the attachment to, but I have to have that accountability conversation
Yeah.
because I know that it's not safe in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And I can validify my feelings and hold
Yeah.
space for, okay, so how else am I going to heal this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, thank you so much, Merrick. It's such an important distinction, in this work, because I mean, the truth is, even when it is a relationship, like let's say with your partner or something, where you're like, okay, no, we do need to do a repair, the moment, to whatever extent where we are dysregulated inside of that need for, it doesn't happen. Like it really, really, I mean, it's not like it never does, but it's like almost doesn't happen until we are in some different state ourselves, and then can bring that, because then that's opening the door, right? So that's part of it. And then the other part of it's so beautiful that you're sharing, Merrick, is because also, my father died, and so I am like a living testament. And it wasn't like he died. Some people's dads or parents die and they just like move on with their life. I don't know, and which is totally fine. And mine was not like that. Like mine was like my whole life. I mean, and it's less now because this is my evolution, but for a long time it was like, that's all it was. Like I could only see like through my father wound or through something else. Like it was such a part of my life, because I know that that's part of what I'm here to do. Like you can connect psychically with people, even if you're in a tangle with somebody. It's like connecting to them psychically first is like a really good idea. Like meaning like sending them, like sending them those conversations or those energies, or even in my work with people, I do, right? Like where it's like, if a client or just somebody I don't know is like coming and they're having this thing, I might like be like, you're fine. Like, for example, let me give you an example because it's big, but like, just like being in that conversation, you know what I mean? Like with that person, or like in that case, my father, right? That's like, oh, how is that conversation going? As opposed to just being like consumed by it or in the absence and longing of it, right? Which takes so much courage, because it means we have to really feel. Because the feeling is oftentimes the through line or the thread between us psychically, in a way. It's, and so it's, and to clear that up and to clean that up and to be like, communicating on that realm, which we're already doing anyway, especially now. I feel like technology, if that hasn't shown us that, like, I don't know what's going on with you. It's like, it's so obvious. You're like, you can just think about somebody and be like triggered. Never mind like seeing a picture of them being like, like ruins your day, or an idea of something, like we are that sensitive, right? And so how can we work with that sensitivity and be that wise, right? To be like, oh, okay, like, here we go. Like, this is okay, or no, not right now. Or like, you know what I mean? Or like, I love you so much. And like, this really hurts, if it's not the appropriate time, or it might never be, like you're saying, right? Some relationships, it's like, this isn't a safe place for me. And so I'm just kind of responding to what you're sharing, to just like confirm that and just appreciate you inside of, the work that you had done to really be able to say what you just said. I know that doesn't just happen overnight. That comes from a lot of tears and a lot of trying to get the thing from the place you can't get it. Like, so I'm just also, holding that part of you and all of us in this space, and holding that possibility for expansion in the ways that we relate. And so am very grateful for your sharing. Thank you.
Thank you. And yeah, one small thing that kept dropping in my head as I was listening, our attachment to the outcome of those conversations is an unhealed masculine trait within us. And just leave that little seed.
Yeah, the need to know or be right or get it, you know, to not be in relationship to that unknown, right? It's like, it is. I agree. I feel that as well. I feel that's true for me too. So thank you. I'm going to read a poem, a very short poem to close because it feels like, and I want you all to have the best holiday time wherever you are, whatever holidays that looks like, and just really like bringing the lights in, lighting the candles wherever you are, just like, you know, orienting towards the sky and nature and the things that can help you, you know, in the moments when you need it. This is a poem by Mirabai Starr, from a book called Mother of God, Similar to Fire. I've read from this book, you know, I read from it often in this space, but this one's called Mother of God, Light in All Darkness. I always have to bring it back to the, you know, the Mother of God. You know what I mean? The Mother of God, you know, like it's very important to me. Who is giving birth? Okay. Mother of God, light in all darkness. The candle in my heart has blown out in the storm of suffering that has come into my life. When I most need the comfort of community, I am feeling most alone and misunderstood. Not only must I endure the burden and live amongst the wreckage of my broken heart, but I am persecuted for my suffering by those who presume to judge me as being the architect of my own circumstances. As you protect the flame held by the small hands of your child, mother, rekindle the fire of love that once burned in me. Let me embrace my own vulnerability and woundedness and offer them as gifts to a hard-hearted world. As you protected the flame held by the small hands of your child, mother, rekindle the fire of love that once burned in me. Let me embrace my own vulnerability and woundedness and offer them as gifts to a hard-hearted world. This is the image that goes along with it. So I would love to just hear your voices to say bye for now. We'll see some of you Sunday. Otherwise, we'll see you next week, and just super grateful to gather with you all today. And you can always reach out if you have any questions or need any support or resources. You can just send us an email. And thanks to Ali and B for supporting and being here as well.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks
Bye.
all so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.